one's asking why. The world keeps spinning, no one seems to care. Lost in the noise, a silent prayer. Does anyone out there even hear the cry? I'm just a voice in the wind, but I'll keep on screaming, 'cause someone's missing. I won't stop dreaming.
Good morning. Good morning. Does it sound okay? Does it sound good? Okay, let's just jump into it. Thank you all for being here, by the way. I appreciate it. Okay. So first we have Cynthia. Cynthia's missing from Florida. She was last seen September 3rd, 1974. She was 16 years old at the time of her disappearance. She was 5 foot tall and 100 pounds at that time. She has an age progressed photo here. It says Cynthia was last seen with a friend, Teresa Alfonso, at a movie theater in Florida. At that time of her disappearance, Cynthia used the nickname Cindy. She has a scar on her left eyebrow. She was last seen wearing blue jeans and a light blue shirt with white and yellow flowers. If you have any information about Cynthia, please contact the Monroe County Sheriff's Department at 305-289-2410. Next, we have Teresa Alfonso. She's missing from Marathon, Florida. 12 years old, 5'5", 138 pounds. She's been missing since September 3rd, 1974. Teresa Armanda Alfonso was last seen with a friend at a movie theater in Florida. At that time, her disappearance, she had a small gap between her front teeth. She reportedly went missing with Cynthia Gooding. She was last seen wearing a blue t-shirt, brown pants, and high heel shoes. If you have any information, oh, oh, if you have any information about her whereabouts, please contact the Monroe County Sheriff's Department at 305-289-2410. Next, we have Danny Jones. Danny Jones is missing from Gilmer, Texas. He was last seen September 1st, 1974. He was 15 years old at the time of his disappearance, 5'5" and 150 pounds. There's his age progressed photo. If you happen to have any information about Danny Jones, please contact the Gilmer Police Department at 903-843-5545. Next is Nadine Odell. Nadine is missing from Michigan, last seen August 16th, 1974. She was 16 years old at the time of her disappearance, 5'1", 105 pounds. She also has an age progressed photo. You would try to take a little look, see if you can see anything about her that is recognizable, if you would see her out. Her story is Nadine was last seen shortly after 9:30 a.m. walking down John Dolly Road toward Michigan Avenue in Inkster. She was going to babysit at her boyfriend's house, but she had never arrived at that destination in Taylor. Her boyfriend was on the way to meet her and had arrived 20 minutes later and had not crossed paths with her. She was wearing her boyfriend's high school ring on a chain around her neck. White gold Taylor Center High School class ring with a blue stone and ram's head on it. It would be for year 1976 or just 76. She also had on a white t-shirt and blue faded baggy jeans. If you have any information about Nadine, please contact their police department at 313-563-9850. Next, we have Rhonda. Rhonda is missing from Lawrence, Maine. She was last seen August 7th, 1974. She was 17 years old at the time of her disappearance. She is 5'5", 120 pounds. She also has an age progressed photo here to the right. The little photo is always the age progressed. It says Susan Rhonda was, excuse me, last seen on Andover Street in Lawrence, Massachusetts. She was hitchhiking from Lawrence to Lowell on August 8th, 1974. She goes by her middle name, Rhonda. She was last seen wearing a white blouse, blue dungarees, and a black suede handbag. If you have any information about Rhonda, please call their police department at 978-671-0900. Next, we have Deborah Meyer. She's missing from Rawlins, Wyoming. She was last seen August 4th, 1974. She was 15 years old at the time of her disappearance, 5'4" and 115 pounds. The little photo is her age progressed photo. Deborah Ray Mayer lived in Red Lodge, Montana at the time of her disappearance. She and her family were visiting relatives in Rawlins, Wyoming on the day that she went missing. She left a relative's home on August 4th, 1974 to see a movie and never returned. She has not been seen or heard from since. Deborah had a full set of false teeth and a small growth, round growth around her left ear. If you have any information about Deborah, please contact the Carbon County Sheriff's Department at 307-324-2776. Next, we have Annette Anderson. Annette Anderson is missing from Jacksonville, Florida. She was last seen August 1st, 1974. She was 11 years old at the time of her disappearance. She was 4'4", 61 pounds. Excuse me. If you look, the little picture is her age progressed photo. Her little story here is that she was with her sister, Millette Josephine Anderson, and they left home alone at approximately 6 p.m. while their mother went to check on a sick relative. The mother called to check on Annette and Millette at 7 p.m. and they were fine. When their father arrived home at 7:20, Annette and Millette were nowhere to be found. If you have any information about them, please contact the Jacksonville Sheriff's Department at 904-630-0500. And this is the Millette from the last one that I did. Their story will be the same. She was also with Annette. So these two were at the movies and never seen or heard from since. This is Cynthia Leslie. Cynthia is missing from Mesa, Arizona. Last seen July 31st, 1974. She was 15 years old at the time of her disappearance, 5'6" and 109 pounds. She has an age progressed photo here. Cynthia and Leslie, her sister Jackie Lynn Leslie, went to visit friends 3 blocks away from the Desert Sands mobile home park. There has been no sign of her or her friend. Cynthia has a 1-inch mole on the outer side of her right armpit. Her nickname is Cindy. If you have any information about Cindy, please contact their county sheriff's department at 602-876-1000. Let me check chat real quick. Everything good in chat, guys? Does it still sound okay? Okay. We have Jennifer Conroy. Jennifer Conroy is missing in Kansas City, Missouri. She was 15 years old at the time of her disappearance, 4'10" and 120 pounds. Here is her age progressed photo here. It says Jennifer Conroy and her infant daughter Ashley Conroy were last seen in their hometown of Kansas City, Missouri on December 14th, 1993. At that time, they were residing with Jennifer's grandmother in the 1000th block of Monroe Street. Jennifer informed her grandmother that she and Ashley were going to visit a friend and would return in approximately 1 hour. For the short trip, Jennifer only took one diaper and one bottle of baby formula, a routine she typically followed when leaving home briefly. The pair were reportedly accompanied by a male acquaintance, and a neighbor observed them getting into a pickup truck. Since that day, neither Jennifer nor Ashley have ever been seen again. Their disappearances still remain unsolved, and foul play is suspected in their case. Please again take a look here at her age progressed photo. See, you may know her. If you have any information, please contact the Kansas City Police Department. And I do believe the next one we do will be a picture of the baby. Yep, there's her daughter, Ashley Conroy. and she was only 7 months old at the time of the disappearance. She was about 2 foot tall and 15 pounds. We have Isaac. Isaac is missing from Arizona. Last seen January 22nd, 2025. 35 years old, 5'3", 120 pounds. He was last seen in the area of McKellen and Center Streets, where he left his residence on foot. He requires medication and functions at a third grade mentality. He was last seen wearing a dark colored shirt and blue jeans. He is described to have black hair and brown eyes. And I see on this flyer here that medication is needed. So he does take medication. If you have any information about Isaac, please contact their police department at 480-644-2211. We have Naya. Naya is missing from Florida, 15 years old, 5'2", 105 pounds. She was last seen near her home on the 4,000th block of St. Oh, sorry about that, guys. At approximately 3:50 p.m. on January 28th, 2025, she was last seen wearing a black hoodie, black leggings, black Crocs. She wears glasses and has long braided hair. You have any information about Naya, please contact the police department at 941-932-9313. Next, we have, I'm going to say Nedser because I know I will mess up her name. I don't want to disrespect her. She's missing from St. Cloud and she is, hang on a second, just a moment. Okay. And she's 120 pounds, 5'4", and she's 17 years old at the time of her disappearance. She was last seen on December 11th, 2024. She was last seen wearing a white t-shirt, black leggings, and white and blue Nike Air Max shoes. She has black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, please contact their police department at 320-345-4444. Next, we have Serenity Douglas. Serenity Douglas is missing from Missouri City, Texas. She's 15 years old at the time of her disappearance. She's been last seen January 29th, 2025, 5'2", 160 pounds. This is an Amber Alert. It says Amber Alert Serenity, 15-year-old black female, was last seen wearing a gray jacket, black pants, black shoes, and carrying a pink or rainbow backpack. Suspect is Megan LaCour, 31-year-old black female. If you have any information, please contact 911 or the Missouri City Police Department. We have Alba Fernandez. Alba Fernandez is missing from East Boston. Last seen January 27th, 2025, age 57, 4'11", and 220 pounds. She was last seen in the evening of January 27th around 6:30 p.m. Alba does suffer from mental health complications and likes to frequent the areas of Logan Airport, the East Boston Library, and the Bremen Street Park area. She is described to have brown hair and hazel eyes. If you have any information about Alba, please contact the Boston Police Department at 617-343-4808. Next, we have Madeline McDonald. Madeline McDonald is missing from Wyoming, Michigan. Last seen January 26, 2025, 24 years old and 5'3". She is considered at risk due to concerns for her well-being. She was last seen in downtown Grand Rapids, Michigan on January 26th. She is described to have brown hair and hazel eyes, and family members are very concerned for her safety. If you think you may see Madeline McDonald, please contact the Wyoming Police Detectives at 616-530-7300. Next, we have Floyd Davis. Floyd is missing from Jonesboro, Georgia. Last seen January 24th, 2025. He left his residence at approximately 11:30 a.m. to complete a DoorDash delivery and has not returned home since. He was last seen driving a black 2013 Nissan Murano. His vehicle was last recorded on camera in DeKalb County. He was last seen wearing black Levi pants, a camo shirt, black jacket, and black Timberland shoes. If you have any information about Floyd, please contact the Clayton County Police Department at 770-477-3747. Next, we have Alyssa Malam. She's missing from Clarksville, Tennessee. Last seen January 25th, 2025. It says that she was last seen around 1 p.m. on Cloverdale Drive in Clarksville, Tennessee. She was last seen wearing a white t shirt and red pajama pants. Detectives believe Alyssa may be traveling towards Knoxville, Tennessee. If you have any information about Alyssa, please contact the Clarksville Police Department at 931-648-0656. Arctic, do we know if is it still an active Amber Alert? I'm pretty sure I think this is still active. I'm pretty sure. Arctic, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so this one's a little bit complicated. This one, a mother found murdered at 4 p.m. on January 28th. Arya, 3 years old, and Alana, 2 years old, are missing. It's believed that Jonathan Cruz, 23, driving a 2020 gray Hyundai Elantra, California plates 8LZD084, killed the mother and abducted the children. He left the residence at 1 a.m. on January 28th. The man is armed and dangerous. Do not approach. Just call 911 if seen. As you can see here are the girls here. This is this guy here. If you have any information, please, 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 these children are in a bad situation, obviously, here. Just call the Kings County Sheriff at 911. We have Margaret Fox. Margaret Fox is missing from New Jersey. She was last seen June 24th, 1974. At 14 years old, she was 5'2", 105 pounds. Margaret was last seen getting off a bus on June 24th, 1974. Margaret was last seen wearing jeans with a yellow patch at the knee, a blue blouse, a white and black checkered jacket, and brown sandals. She was also wearing a gold necklace and flowers with a blue stone and a gold charm bracelet with a blue stone. If you have any information about Margaret Fox, please contact the Burlington City Police 609-386-3300. We have Amijah, missing from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, last seen January 28th, 2025. She's 16 years old. She was last seen in the 500th block of York Street, Gettysburg Borough, wearing a black and white colored hoodie, black colored pants, black and white colored Nike shoes, a black duffel bag, and a bright blue colored backpack with pink and green markings. She has known ties to New York York City and Baltimore City. If you have any information about her, please contact the Gettysburg Police Department at 717-334-8101. We have Jeffrey. Jeffrey is missing from Ocean Shores. At the time of his disappearance, he was 7 years old, 3'9", 45 pounds, last seen June 15th, 1974. Jeffrey was last seen on the 15th of June playing near a picnic area outside of Ocean City State Park in Ocean City. He was last seen wearing plaid slacks, a white jersey with navy number 33 on it, a blue jacket, white tennis shoes, and a blue sailor hat. Excuse me. If you have any information about Jeffrey, please contact the Grays Harbor County Sheriff's Department at 360-249-3711. Next, we have Valerie. Valerie is missing from Brooklyn, New York, last seen May 4th, 1974. She was 20 years old at the time of her disappearance, 5'6" and 120 pounds. She was last seen outside a disc. Well, I'm not sure with this one. I'm going to booger that word, but I'm going to say 96th Street and 3rd Avenue, New York City, getting into a vehicle with two unknown males. She was last seen wearing a plaid coat with a fur collar, a striped polo shirt, and camel pants, black boots with studs on the sides. Valerie has a scar on her left calf. you have any information about Valerie, please contact the New York State Police at 1-800-445-2500. Next is Cynthia Sumter. Cynthia Sumter is missing from San Jose, California. She was last seen April 27th, 1974. She was 5 years old. At the age of her disappearance, she was 3'8", 55 pounds. She has an age progressed photo here. Please take a look at that. Cynthia was last seen playing outside of her apartment complex in San Jose, California. She has a calic on the right side of her hairline and a mole on the left side of her back. And a small, I lost my place, I apologize, and a small cleft chin. Her eyes may appear dark blue to hazel in color. Cynthia was last seen wearing a red and white striped sleeveless shirt with a blue star on the front and purple pants. She was not wearing any footwear. Her nickname is Cindy. If you have any information, please contact the San Jose Police Department at 408-537-1340. Next, we have Robert Parks. Robert Parks is missing from Mesa, Arizona. Last seen April 11th, 1974. He was 13 years old at the time of his disappearance. He was 5'6" and 120 pounds at that time. He was last seen leaving his home in Arizona on April 11th and has never been seen or heard from again. He left behind all of his belongings, including his wallet. A seventh grader at Powell Junior High School at the time, Robert's case remains shrouded in mystery, but foul play is suspected. Please contact their police department at 480-644-2211. We have Leigh Savoy. He's missing from Massachusetts, last seen April 7th, 1974. He was 10 years old at the time of his disappearance, 4'4" and 60 pounds. Around 11 a.m. on April 7th, 1974, he left his home on State Road carrying his shoe shine kit, prepared to work at the racetrack, shining shoes. He stopped at a restaurant in Beachmount Square where he had a sandwich and a glass of milk. He asked the owner to hold on to the shoe shine kit for a few minutes, promising he would return, but he never returned. He was last believed to be wearing cut-off blue shorts, sneakers, and a white t-shirt with the words, "Try it, you'll like it." He is described to have sandy blonde hair and blue eyes. If you have any information about him, please contact the Riviera Police Department at 781-284-1212. There's Judy Gary. Judy is missing from Louisiana. She's last seen August 2nd, 1986, age 19, 5'2" and 130 pounds on the day she went missing. Judy Ann Gary was last known to be heading to the hospital drugstore on Main Street. She was on foot and never returned. At the time of her disappearance, she was married and had a child. She is described to have dark brown hair and green eyes. If you have any information about Judy, please contact the St. Martinville Police Department at 337-394-3001. Next, we have Nancy O'Sullivan. Nancy O'Sullivan is missing from South Holland, Illinois. She was last seen March 7th, 1974 at age 15. She was 5'4", 115 pounds at the time of her disappearance. It just says that she was in South Holland, Illinois. She's believed to be a victim of foul play. We have Amy. Amy is missing from Coconut Grove, Florida. Last seen March 5th, 1974. She was 17 years old at the time of her disappearance. She's 5'5" and 110 pounds. She also has this age progressed photo. Please take a good look. You may know her, see her. You may see her in the future. If you have any information about Amy, please contact the Miami Police Department at 305-603-6640. We have Ian. Ian is missing from Springfield, Missouri. Last seen April 17th, 2022. He was 29 at the time of his disappearance, 6'2" and 150 pounds. He was last seen walking near Stick It In Your Ear, a vinyl music store in Springfield, Missouri. He had left his home on April 15th and has not been heard or seen from since. Few details are available about his disappearance, but he has brown hair, blue eyes, and several distinctive physical features, including his front teeth are slightly ground down, gauged piercings in his earlobes, and a septum piercing. He has multiple tattoos, a large cow skull with roses coming out of its eyes, and the words 1 million dead gods on his ribs. A design featuring an apple with seven eyes and a snake on his left shoulder with an abstract depiction of a human figure on the inside of his forearm and a bird like creature on the outside of his right wrist. If you have any information about him, please contact the Springfield Police Department at 417-864-1810. It looks like Trey's been found safe. That's great. Safe. We have Colt Haynes. Colt Haynes is missing from Oklahoma. He is 21 years old, 5'10", 180 pounds. He's been missing since July 8th, 2013. Colt, it was also with Molly Miller. They disappeared from Wilson, Oklahoma on July 8th, 2013. The night before, they were passengers on a 2012 Honda Accord driven by 21-year-old James Con Nip. At 10:30 p.m., they reached speeds up to 120 miles per hour and ended near Long Hollow Road in Love County around 12:47 a.m. Molly had made multiple 911 calls, all of which dropped. No one was dispatched to the area to investigate the calls. Colt called friends claiming he was injured, coughing up blood, and unable to move in a creek bed near Long Hollow and Pike Roads. Despite searching in that area, Colt's friends couldn't locate him. Molly also had several calls to loved ones saying she was stranded in a field. Her phone was pinged off a tower between Pike and Long Hollow Roads. Nip was convicted of eluding police and sentenced to 10 years in prison. He served 4 years and was released in 2018. If you have any information about Colt or Molly Miller, please contact the Bureau of Indian Affairs at 833-560-2065. And here is Molly. Isn't she just a doll? I think she's so pretty. This is the Molly that we were just talking about with Colt. Again, if you have any information, please contact the Bureau of Indian Affairs at 833-560-2065. Next, we have Darren Colley, missing from Oklahoma. Excuse me. Missing since May 26, 2013. He was 32 years old at the time of his disappearance. He was 250 pounds, 6'2". He was last seen around 9:30 p.m. on May 26th after dropping his brother off at the Job Corps in Oklahoma. He mentioned wanting to get home to rest before the work week began. Colley lived at 59th and Sunny Lane in Del City, Oklahoma, but he never made it home and was never heard from since. Colley was driving his orange 2007 Dodge Nitro at that time, and on June 6, 2013, the vehicle was discovered abandoned and out of gas near Mount Hood in Hood River County, Oregon. Excuse me. The car was located near the Zigzag Trailhead, backed up to an embankment off of Highway 35. Inside were Colley's laptop, clothing, passport, and car keys. The front license plate had been removed and was found behind a seat. A search of the vicinity turned up no indication of his whereabouts. His case still remains unsolved. Here's in his little photo, the small photo. Maybe you will recognize it could be Darren Colley. If you have any information, please contact their police department at 405-282-3535. Next, we have Reba McCoy. Reba is missing from Columbus, Ohio. She was last seen March 28, 1999. She was 32 years old at the time of her disappearance, 5'2" and 110 pounds. Reba Dawn McCoy was last seen by family on March in 1999 in Columbus, Ohio. She may have been on her way to New York. Her maiden name is Reba Williams. She has a tattoo on her upper left arm and is described to have brown hair and green eyes. If you have any information about Reba, please contact the Ohio Bureau of Criminals at 740-845-2419. We have Donald Simmons Jr. Donald Simmons Jr. has been missing since June 20th of 24. He's from Oregon, 5'10", 50 years old, and 200 pounds. It says the last contact with Donald Leroy Simmons Jr. was on June 20th. Just after 8 p.m., he texted his family to say he was getting his hair cut. His van and belongings were located in the 32,000th block of Berlin Road in Lebanon, Oregon. He was last seen wearing blue jeans, a dark colored t shirt with white graphics on the front, a baseball cap, and work boots. He is described to have brown and gray hair, and blue eyes. If you think you may see Donald, please contact the Lebanon Police Department at 541-258-4318. Okay, let me check. Oh, found safe. Excellent. I'm going to go over here and catch up with the comments here. Well, I think you guys got this all figured out. Nothing going on in chat. Great, great. Okay. Found. Angelisa Rodriguez is missing from Springfield. In January 26, 2025, she's 16 years old, 4'11", 90 pounds. She was last seen leaving Bay State Medical Center on January 26th. She may be in Kimberly Avenue, Wayne Street, and West Albert Street area. She has an A tattooed on her hand. If you have any information about her, please contact the Springfield Police Department at 413-787-6300. Hey, Stephen, thank you for joining us. Found safe. Here's Kinronica Colson. She's missing from Snellville, Georgia. Last seen January 2025. She is 16 years old, 5'6", and 140 pounds. It looks as if she was last seen wearing a gray jumpsuit with South Gwinnett Swim Team written on it. She has brown eyes, brown hair, and she wears her hair in long twisted braids. She has a nose piercing, a birthmark on her left foot, and a scar on her right knee. If you have any information about Kinronica, please contact the Gwinnett County Police Department at 770-513-5000. Next, we have Kimberly Williamson. She's missing from Flint, Michigan. She was last seen October 28th, 2024. She was 57 years old at the time of her disappearance, 5'5", and 190 pounds. Kimberly Sue Williamson was last seen at the McLaren Hospital in Flint, Michigan. She is a double amputee with both legs amputated. If you have any information about Kimberly, please contact the City of Flint Police at 810-237-6951. We have Sadie. Sadie is missing from Chicago, Illinois. She's 15 years old at the time of her disappearance, 5'1", 150 pounds. She was last seen January 27th, 2025. Sadie and her 9-month-old daughter, Abigail, was last seen at 9:30 a.m. on January 27th. They were last seen in the 2800th block of West Kermack in Chicago, Illinois. Sadly, that was sad. I'm sorry. Sadie was last seen wearing black jogging pants and a pink blouse. If you have any information about Sadie, please contact the Chicago Police Department at 312-746-8251. Found safe. Excellent. Missing Gregory Brown from Little Rock, Arkansas. He was last seen January 2025. Ooh, he kind of favors Detective John a little bit. Whew, okay. Gregory Brown, Little Rock, Arkansas, last seen January 2025. 39 years old, 5'9", 180 pounds. Gregory Brown was last known to be in Little Rock, Arkansas. That's all the information I see on him. And yeah, that's it. So if you have any information about Gregory Brown, please contact the Little Rock Police Department at 501-404-3016. We have Mr. Millbrook here. He's missing from Memphis, Tennessee, last seen January 27, 2025. He is 16 years old, 5'7", and 120 pounds. Look at that little grin. I think he has the cutest little grin. He was last seen on the 200th block of Vance in Memphis, Tennessee. He was last seen wearing a black jacket, white shirt, and black pants. Please, if you have any information about him, please contact the Memphis Police Department at 901-636-4479. Next, we have Joseph. Joseph is missing from Birmingham, Alabama. He was last seen March 18th, 2021. 33 years old at the time of his disappearance, 6 foot tall and 200 pounds. Joseph Thomas was last seen in the parking lot of St. Vincent East Hospital on March 18th in 2021. He was last seen wearing blue jeans, a light blue shirt, and tennis shoes. He is described to have brown hair and blue eyes. If you have any information about Joseph, please contact the Birmingham Police Department at 205-297-8413. Let me get a drink. How you guys doing in chat? Still good? All right. Oh, good. Jesse was found safe. So glad. Heaven. Heaven McGee is still missing. She was last seen January 20th, 2025. She is 20 years old, 5'4" and 130 pounds. Says the Stockton Police Department is currently investigating the disappearance of Heaven McGee, who was last seen on January 20th, 2025 at a truck stop in Stockton, California. She is described as having long black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information about Heaven McGee, please contact the Stockton Police Department at 209-937-8377. We have Brenda Davidson. Brenda is missing from Virginia, last seen March 4th, 1974. 13 years old at the time of her disappearance, 5'6" and 150 pounds. Please take a look at her age progressed photo right here where you can see my mouse. You may know her, you may see her, or something about her you may recognize if you were to see her out in the public. Brenda Sue Davidson was last seen on March 4th, 1974 in Woodbridge, Virginia. Last seen wearing a denim jacket with a fur collar and boots. If you have any information about Brenda, please contact the Prince William County Police at 703-792-6500. Michael Schaefer has been found safe. Ellie safe. Missing Peggy Reed. She's missing from Santa Rosa, California. Last seen March 28th, 1974. 15 years old, 5'2" and 110 pounds at the time of her disappearance. Over this little picture here is her age progressed photo. Peggy Ann Reed was last seen on March 28th, 74 in Santa Rosa, California. She was last seen wearing a male Western styled shirt and brown dress slacks, dark navy blue men's windbreakers, tan shoes, and a metal framed round glasses. She was born with a stork bite birthmark, also described as a red mark within her hairline. Located on the back of her head, she is described to have brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information about Peggy Reed, please contact the Sonoma County Sheriff's Department at 707-565-2569. Welcome, Phil. Welcome, Abigail. Hi, Stephen. Sorry, guys. I'm sure I missed several of you, but I can't really, it's hard for me to watch chat while I'm reading these off. And then we have Luladia. I know I messed that up, but that's as good as I got here, guys. She's missing from Santa Clara, California. Last seen November 25th, 1973. Age 17, 5'3" and 120 pounds. She was last seen in Santa Clara, California, wearing a McDonald's work uniform. She has a scar on her right foot. If you have any information, and here's her age progressed photo here. If you have any information about her, please contact their police department at 408-615-4700. Next, we have Patricia Steelball. She's missing from Grove City, Pennsylvania. Last seen October 26th, 1973. She was 17 years old at the time of her disappearance, 5 foot tall and 98 pounds. It says she was last seen in the company of friends at the Barkeysville truck stop in Barkeysville, Pennsylvania. The truck stop is located off of Interstate 80 and east of Interstate 79. She was dropped off with a known male at a residence in the area located just outside of Grove City, Pennsylvania. commonly known as Haleville or Hallville. It was late, likely after midnight. This is the last time she was seen, and this was the last time she was seen wearing the blue jeans. If you have any information, please contact the Pennsylvania State Police at 724-662-6162. We have Deborah Tomlinson. Deborah Tomlinson is missing from Crestwell, Oregon. She was last seen October 15th, 1973. She was 16 years old at the time of her disappearance, 5'5" and 140 pounds. She left home on October 15th, 73 with another girl, another teenage girl whose identity is unknown. Deborah may go by the name Debbie. She is described to have having a ring of moles around her neck and brown hair and brown eyes. She also has an age progressed photo. Please take a look. You may know her or you may see her out and about. Please contact the Lane County Sheriff's Department at 541-682-4150. Next, we have Kim. Kim is missing from Los Angeles, California. Last seen September 30th, 1973. She was 13 years old at the time of her disappearance, 5'3" and 125 pounds. Kim was last seen in Los Angeles wearing white corduroy bell-bottom pants, a powder blue knit pullover type blouse, multicolored Oxford shoes, and a multi-stone turquoise silver pendant. She has scars on both wrists and brown hair and blue eyes. If you have any information about Kim, please call the UCLA Police Department at 310-825-1491. Next, we have Sandra Hopler. She's missing from Pennsylvania, last seen September 29th, 1973. She was 18 years old at the time of her disappearance, 5'4" and 125 pounds. Here, the little picture is her age progressed photo. Please take a look, see if anything is recognizable to you. Sandra was last seen the 29th in 1973. She was a student at Keystone Junior College in La Plume, Pennsylvania, and was last seen at Mart's Trailway bus station. Sandra has pierced ears, a small mole on her left side of her lip, another mole on her right hand near her thumb. She was last seen wearing a burgundy blazer, a dark blouse, tan shoulder purse with new Seiko gold face watch. If you have any information, please contact their police department at 570-963-3156. Let me grab a drink real quick. All right, we have Sharon. Sharon is missing from Dayton, Ohio. Last seen September 28th, 1973. She was 13 years old at the time of her disappearance, 5'7" and 135 pounds. She was last seen at home and was not seen or heard from since the 28th of September. She was last seen wearing a yellow long sleeve sweater, blue jeans, and tennis shoes. She is described as having brown hair and blue eyes. If you have any information about Sharon, please contact the Dayton Police Department at 937-333-2677. We have Cheryl. Cheryl's missing from New York. Last seen September 24th, 1973. She was 17 years old at the time of her disappearance, 5'3" and 140 pounds. Cheryl Ann was employed and lived at the Wasaik State School in New York until the time of her disappearance. About September 24th, 1973, she reportedly left behind her possessions, 2 paychecks, and Cheryl was originally from Phelps, New York. She remained in regular contact with her family until the time of her disappearance. No known vehicle. There is no known vehicle. Cheryl was not reported missing until November 2nd, 1998. If you have any information about Cheryl, please contact the New York State Police at 845-877-3669. This is a silver alert for Victor Garcia. He's missing from Sunnyvale, California, last seen January 8th, 2025. He is 76 years old, 5'8" and 180 pounds. He was last seen at his home on Iris Avenue in Sunnyvale, California. He has shown signs of dementia, so a silver alert has been issued. He was last seen wearing a brown hoodie and gray sweatpants. If you have any information, please contact their police department at 408 730 7180. We have Michael Levan. He's missing from Asheville, North Carolina since March 11, 2024. He is 39 years old at the time of his disappearance, 5'10" and 180 pounds. Michael moved to Asheville, North Carolina and checked in on his social media account on March 11, 2024 and posted on March 13, 2024, and he hasn't been heard from since. He did reach out to family members via Facebook Messenger at that time, letting them know that he was in Asheville living, but has not been in contact since. It is normal for him to go off the grid for a month or two and then reach out to his family, but never with no contact this long. He is described to have brown hair and green eyes. If you have any information about Michael, please contact the Asheville Police Department at 828-252-1110. Found safe. Oh, that was bad. Okay, we'll end after with a couple more, and then we'll just be done. Dorothy is missing from Phoenix, Arizona, last seen September 20th, 1973. She's 14 years old at the time of her disappearance, 5'4", 140 pounds. Dorothy was last seen on September 20th. She was walking towards the restroom of Cortez Park on the 35th Avenue of Dunlap in Phoenix, Arizona. She was wearing a Levi bell-bottom jeans and a white tank top with a pattern of upside-down multicolored teardrop shapes. She wore thick eyeglasses and has pierced ears, but it is unknown if she was wearing any jewelry at the time she had disappeared. She may have the remnants of U.S. Steel scar on one of her forearms from from backing into a hot radiator. Oh, it is possible that the letter U was still visible. If you have any information about Dorothy, please contact the Phoenix Police Department at 602-534-2121. And we'll end here with Catherine. Catherine Davidson, look how adorable. Oh, goodness. Missing from Sawyer, Michigan, last seen September 1st of 1973. She was 6 years old at the time of her disappearance, 3 foot tall, 70 pounds. Catherine Kathy Davidson went missing just after her family arrived at the state park from Chicago for a picnic. Kathy and her other children had gone off to explore the creek and the empties into Lake Michigan while the parents unpacked their car. When the children returned, Kathy was not with them. This sparked a multi-day search for her without turning up with anything other than a pair of green panties. Ugh. It is unclear if these even belong to Kathy or not. She was last seen wearing a white blouse, blue shorts, and white sandals. If you have any information about Catherine, please contact the Michigan State Police at 269-683-4411. All right, guys. Do we have any questions? Thank you all so much for being here. All right, guys. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me this morning. If you will hit like, hit that notification bell just so you don't miss our morning shows. Maybe share this out. Let's try to get their faces out there and let's just bring them home. Thanks, guys. I'll see you after a while.
Does anyone understand? Does anyone lend a hand? When the silence starts to bite, will you join me in this fight? Can you see them in your dreams? Can you hear their desperate screams? A heartbeat lost in the night. Oh, will you help me be their voice? In the darkness let's rejoice, 'cause together we can shine.